Okay, Mathias, and the album is now 1 week old. How has been the reception so far?
It's actually been really positive so far. I'm really happy because I have heard very little bad comments about the album. It's actually been, I would say, 99% has been good so far. So that sometimes, when you get that much, good feedback, you think there's something wrong. But I hope there's nothing wrong. And now, in a couple of hours, we're actually gonna start getting the chart positions and stuff like that. So yeah, so it's an exciting day. I think I'm not sure, but I think it's like in a half hour or something that we'll get the official Finnish numbers from this week, and yeah, and it will be very interesting to see how many, well, not how many albums we sold, but how this is selling, in yeah, and which and in Germany as well, all the other albums they have. The last 3 albums have made it to the German charts as well, so I'm really hoping for that one as well. So
Yeah,
it's an exciting day.
it is. Yeah. I guess the fewest negative comments must have been about complaining that people had to wait so long.
yeah. That's been a usual one. I've heard that many times for many years already.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were quite impatient, and also it is understandable. And also, I don't dare to ask again, so we just skip that. You
Yeah.
already answered the question. One thing is just what I would like to know is how did you, as you said in previous interviews, you had many songs to choose from. Why did you choose these 10 songs
Well,
for this album?
yeah, exactly. Well, when we finished like last year, when we really started working on this album, when we had like the first 3 or 4 songs were ready, we already started thinking about the song order of the album. So we already knew that, I think it was the 3rd song we made, that this is going to be the opening track. This is going to be, after the intro, this is going to be that track. And then we had this and this song that we knew where it's going to be on the album. We knew we already had the last song and we had the 2 songs in the middle. But then we needed, we sort of knew what kind of songs we need, in between those songs. So that's the basis for choosing those songs are actually because we needed a certain type of song to fit in there between. So yeah, so it's strange, to build an album like this, because usually you record 10 songs, and when the album is finished you choose the order of the songs on the album, but this time we already knew how the album was going to go before we even wrote the songs.
Yeah. So you had like the dramatic structure already in your mind.
Exactly. Yeah, mm-hmm. we had the basic stuff built up, and already after 3 or 4 songs we knew what kind of album we're gonna write. So yeah, so the rest of the riffs and stuff they went back into the vault, and we have let's see if we use them for our next album or something like that. But yeah.
Yeah, isn't that the ideal situation to create an album, that you have so much energy and creativity that you have many songs and can actually pick the best? Isn't that the best way, right?
Well, yeah, but it also can be quite stressful, to actually choose the right stuff. And I think in our case, it was a disadvantage, So, but yeah. We had so much material and so much, but in different directions, and nothing. It was total mess in the beginning. When we really started working on this album, to sort of sort out the good stuff from and to try to get everything to fit together. But yeah, but in the end, we actually ended up with using maybe 15-20% of the old stuff we actually wrote. Yeah, well, 80% of the album from scratch, actually. So, yeah, so let's see about those. If we just should delete everything and start, fresh again. But that's for the future,
Yeah, that the dramatic structure functioned well. We could see at the pre-listening party.
Yeah.
I was there, but a little bit in the background. The people were responding, like they should to the songs. One song was, I mean, all of them are very catchy and very energy loaded and powerful, but Ormfolk was the first where people erupted in spontaneous cheering and clapping.
Yeah, that was kind of funny, after Ormfolk and what is somebody giving applause here, and then it continued to the album. So yeah, that was kind of a good surprise, I think.
Yeah, I think this song will, from the reaction in that little bar, we can assume that this is going to be a hit on stage.
Yeah,
when
definitely.
You will be live soon, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that song was also, the first single we chose from the whole album, because it sort of describes the whole album in a good way as well. So it was a good song to start with, and we knew that, this is the song. Well, it was the right song, and I'm not surprised, because the first track is a little bit different kind of track for Finntroll, and many is going to be like, what's going on here? But yeah.
You mean the intro?
No, Döda med en sten.
Yeah. Of course. This album has a lot of new elements in there, but it still sounds very Finntroll. And I guess this is one of the core questions you get all the time right now. How can you manage to reinvent yourself and still stay true to yourself?
Yeah, well, this is it's always hard, because that's also why it always takes so long for us to come with an album. Some bands they have a concept that they want to go, and they do it over and over for many albums in a row, and there's actually nothing new on the album. They have a new album out like every 2 years or something like that, and it's sort of the same stuff over and over again. But in Finntroll, we have always been really, focused on reinventing ourselves and staying true to the sounds. And but I think it's not doing that kind of sound. That's not the problem, because when we get together and write stuff, it's gonna sound Finntroll, because that's how we write music. So if we write stuff that sounds good to our ears, it's gonna sound Finntroll, So that's not the problem. It's the reinventing part that always, takes forever. Because it would be stupid, to have done like between these two albums, to have done like 3 Vredesvävd albums. We could have easily, fit 2 albums more in there, but it would have, been the same thing, and that's why it took so long as well, because we didn't find, the red thread, the theme for the album, so to say.
Okay, and you yourself are in the band since 2006, I think, yeah?
Yeah.
And how did you, as a stage character or as a singer, and your voice, how did you evolve?
Yeah, it's really weird, because if I listen to, I haven't listened to it in a long time, but if I listen to my first album with Finntroll, Urjordens Djup, it's really hard for me, to listen to it, because I haven't really found my, my voice. I sound sort of like the same way I did in the band that I had before, it's the same. I'm doing the same stuff, only in Swedish, and I really hadn't found it. But it's not weird, because after I joined Finntroll, we were maybe like 3 months later we went into the studio, so I didn't have the time to develop my voice. I just used the stuff I was used to, so but then when you listen to, for example, Niflwind, then I've sort of found it, and now you can, well, at least I hope so, with my different bands, and that actually you can hear the different personas that I have on this, that it's actually totally, like they are their own entity in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's clear that you evolve a lot as a singer when you're new in a band and have to step in and find yourself.
Yeah.
That's clear. Yeah, of course. I've seen you guys the first and only time actually last year in Barcelona at Damask Metal Fest.
All right.
Seems ages ago. And now that you mentioned it, I was so stunned by the fact that the people there in Catalonia were singing the Swedish lyrics along. Does this happen usually, that people at a completely different country know the lyrics by heart, or was this special?
Well, in some countries it do. I'm pretty used to also in some countries, when it's really weird to sing in Swedish or something, that they sing along with the melodies more than just like shouting out the melodies. But for some reason in Spain, and same thing goes, around the Mediterranean areas, and it happens a lot in many parts of the world. But for me, it's a big honor because I come from this small minority in Finland that actually speaks Swedish, and to be singing there in my own dialect is really, it's really fun, and to see this much people actually knowing the words for our little weird part of Sweden that we have here in Finland. So yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that is also part of the authenticity of Finntroll.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And people have asked us sometimes, why don't you sing in English, because people would understand what you're singing, or your band would be bigger or something like that. Probably, yeah, both of them are correct. But for some reason, as you said, the authenticity. I cannot say the word. Authenticity. Well,
you see.
Exactly. That's
it.
Yeah. It's a hard word to say, But yeah, we would lose it, and I think also people would sort of consider it to being a sellout move to do, and we have never even discussed doing it. So yeah, because it's all the time when you hear that in an interview or something, or people tell you just like no, never gonna happen, and
yeah,
it would be a sellout move to do.
Also, there's Google Translate if people want to know what lyrics are about.
Exactly.
But for you personally, you are the one expressing the lyrics. Which of the new songs on the new album have the strongest message or the best story?
Well, I really like Forsen, the lyrics to that one. That's a really, really cool one. And that sort of resonates with me quite a lot as well. And when you read it, of course, it's very metaphorical in that way, what it's talking about. But that song, well, you can see the video as well, because the video is sort of, it's so funny because it's maybe funny, but I really like the fact that all the words that I'm singing sort of comes to life in the video as well, and everything is represented there that you need to sort of unlock the story of the whole thing. And yeah, I really like it. It's probably my favorite track on the, I like the music as well to that one. So yeah, it's probably my favorite track of the album in many ways.
That answers my next question, which would be, which is your favorite song? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also one of the first songs we actually finished for this. We had the riffs for it already 4 years ago, I think, but we sort of added more to it and changed it totally when we actually found, the red thread we were talking about, the twist that we wanted on this album. We actually went back and rewrote the whole song. But the main riffs are the same as they were, 4 years ago.
Yeah, like a good wine, it ripe.
Yeah.
It got ripe.
Yeah.
Words.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And now that the album is out, what are your next steps? What have you planned?
Well, for me, it's probably talking in more interviews, but it seems to never stop. Well, I think the next thing is actually to start practicing these songs. We have a couple of times been already in the rehearsal room with the new tracks, and but yeah, we need to figure out which songs are gonna work live and how we're gonna do it. And well, now it seems like we only we have got time to do this, so it's not gonna be any problem if we just like shape up a bit and grab ourselves by the collar and go to the rehearsal room. It's gonna be cool. But yeah, the next step is actually rehearsing for something resembling of a release gig at some point, because that's all the time right now. Yeah, it's everything is changing all the time. So we had a release gig already that I think we have changed the date of it 2 times already. So
Yeah.
So this is one, but yeah. So we're gonna do at least 1 release gig, maybe 2 if everything works well, and then it's the tour, the next year's European tour, when we're coming to Germany as well, for example.
Yeah.
I don't remember how many dates there are, but there are many German dates there.
Yeah, I really hope for dates for for tours, for tour, for concerts, of course, not only on the balcony.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Actually, we say in German, if you can't afford or if you don't want to go on vacation abroad, you stay in Balconia. Yeah. So
Okay.
we hope for a tour not only in Balconia, but
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm hoping for that. I'm getting a bit restless because this summer I played 1 festival this summer, and yeah, that was it. That's the least amount of festivals I have had since '97 or something like that. So it was kind of new for me.
So have you thought about doing some kind of a stream concert or something like Amorphous did?
Yeah, but there's plans, but still there's everything is sort of working against us. It's the usual thing, when Finntroll releases an album, everything, boom. So
Bad luck.
yeah, it's always been, and so yeah, well, so yeah, we have been working on like every kinds of like streaming gigs, and everything, but every time there's something happening and there's new restrictions coming to break everything down. Yeah, so yeah, let's hope for something that's coming along soon.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that I hope. And 2 short, easy questions.
Yeah.
I've seen the album is of course out and merch is already out too. Is there a shop somewhere here in Helsinki where you can buy the stuff and don't have to ship it somewhere?
No, sorry, we don't have anything here in Finland. Everything is actually working out from Germany, because most of the people live in mainland of Europe that wants our t-shirts. So yeah, sadly Finland is kind of hard. We would pay ourselves terrible amounts, with the shipping. If every time we had to ship everything from Finland. So sadly everything is there. But if we're gonna have a gig, then we're gonna get some merch to Finland as well. So
yeah.
After that, you never know. As soon as we get a shipment for some kind of gig, then then we will probably have it in Finland as well.
Yeah, of course. Okay, and last question, you said you're already rehearsing. I always wondered how, might be a silly question, but how do you get your pointy troll ears to stick on your head?
Yeah, it's copious amounts of glue.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Good to know. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything you need to say now? Or
there's nothing I really need. There's nothing I really need to say, but there's definitely, I want to say that to all listeners out there, that check out the dates, because we are coming. As soon as we can open up the borders, we're gonna be everywhere again. And next year is probably all gonna be about Europe, because I know that rest of the world is gonna probably be still out of limits still. So, but still, you know, we have lots of new gigs, we have lots of new stuff, and listen to the new album and stay safe, everyone. So we can start.
You too.
Yeah, exactly. Stay home so we can actually soon go somewhere.